There's another problem we need to address, and I'm talking here about the thing that you most deeply and sincerely believe in, your money. Because your money that you've got in a bank is your money, it belongs to you. But if something goes wrong technologically, suddenly you don't have access to your money. It's happened to Westpac, it's happened to a number of banks, where suddenly they're out for some hours at a time. You can't use your credit cards. If it's a small business operating a business depending on a link to that particular bank, they can't function. So there's now discussion that the only sensible thing to do to protect yourself and protect your money is not to have one bank. Have at least two banks when one bank is not functioning. So complaints have rolled into the authority about this, about the Westpac outages and the Commonwealth Bank duplicate charges that disrupt access to customers' money. And the answer is, we're being told by Professor Elizabeth Sheedy, the answer is that you need to have at least two banks. Now, my wife, who's very smart about money, is way ahead of them. She's got two banks. So long before the advice...
Already got the bases covered.
Everyone should be banking with two banks, says the professor. So I can understand that, and I think it makes a lot of sense. We are very vulnerable. Once your money is in the bank, you can lose access to it because of a software glitch, because of a hardware breakdown, because of a hacker breaking in, or an electromagnetic pulse. Every few hundred years, there's a massive electromagnetic pulse from the sun. If one hits, it wipes out all the computers, and you've got no money. Look, there are a bunch of things that can happen, so you can't just depend on the electrons. Put not your faith in electrons, my son.
No,
but if there's an
all.
electromagnetic pulse, wouldn't it wipe out all the money in both the banks you had your money in?
Oh, if that happens,
that is a suitcase worth of cash under the mattress scenario, isn't it?
I don't think that's how it works.
As well as two banks, keep money in cash. So,
always.
yeah.
I discovered this recently, literally just yesterday. My bank cancelled my card because it had expired, well, was at the end of this month. So they'd sent me out a new card to the wrong address. So they said, well, we've got to cancel that one. But because it has the same number as my current one, I was then left with zero access to my own accounts. And had I not had a stash of cash, I wouldn't be able to spend money until my new card arrived.
Every burglar is just watching this now going, I wonder what her new address is. Yeah, look, I don't know. I always like to have a bit of cash. I was shamed by, back in the old days when I was a dirty, rotten smoker, years ago, I was shamed by the guy at the kiosk at Central Station when I realised I didn't have cash and tried to pay with my card, and he just looked at me and goes, come on, Joe, you know better. You know better. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Classic.
So I'd always do carry a bit of cash. I find that there are certain industries that definitely prefer cash. And yes, that's right. I'm talking about the cleaning trade.
Also nail salons. Nail salons will even give you a discount if you're paying
my
cash.
barber, the guy who did this haircut, this Max at Asheville Mall. Yeah, he likes a bit of cash.
Yeah, the bloke who mows your lawn will always want a bit of cash.
That's right, so, always cash.
But Rowan Dean keeps arguing, and Rowan's been arguing this for some time. If you run it all on plastic and run it all on credit cards, you're vulnerable. If something happens, even if a policy is set up, you can be debanked by your bank. If they decide they don't like your politics, as happened to Nigel Farage in Britain, then you can be debanked and you can have no access. So he said, the more we work with cash, the better for us.